Smith almost caught him. He loses his footing. Mark Hughes doesn't really test him or punish him in the way he should have.
Well, he'd have wanted a tunnel that came up about 50 miles away had that gone in, wouldn't he? So he could slip into the ground. Who had the right sort of idea. He was trying to angle it towards that far corner, but made no sort of connection. Right on the far side if he can find him. That's a lovely ball. That is a lovely ball. Here is Cantona. Well, will he get a better chance than that to score a goal that would have stunned Elland Road into silence? And Whyte did some good covering. Kicks on the far post, Dorigo with the important header. Giggs again. Parker's the one in support. Did well to make something of it in the end. Parker through to Hughes, who let it run, but there was nobody behind. And good covering from Sellars. Giggs, neat little touch. Ince, though, did very, very well, and it falls here for Sharpe. Well, somebody got a boot to that in there, Andy, and it was vital.
Well, they might just be thanking Rob Bowman here. I think you'll find it's a young 17-year-old here who gets his body in the way of something. There you see it. Just turned his back a little bit on it, but got enough on the ball to deflect it wide.
Irwin's corner, and this time Leeds defend the near post much better. And Lukic off his line. Vital. Still Ince, and Lukic just gets her hand on it. Hughes is there, and the decision is corner.
Well, I didn't deal with it convincingly, though, John Lukic. From the poor Ince does it, strike the shot quite in the way you would have wanted. It tops it a little bit instead of pushing it wide and away.
Lukic made a great save.
Well, he's taken some criticism for certain goals that he's conceded in recent weeks, but this really is a fine save, right out of the top drawer. The deflections have helped him so far tonight. That one didn't, but Lukic was equal to it. That really was a fine save.
Came off Chris White's boot from Hughes. This is Cantona. Well, I'll tell you what, that booking for Éric Cantona.
Marks to Chapman for following it in. But all he can do is direct it straight at Peter Schmeichel. A yard either side, and the
diminutive Sellars takes the corner. Not a good one. He's got another chance. Hit long, Shutt. Now Cantona again. We're seeing more of him, and that's a good ball, isn't it, to Hughes? But not a great first touch from Hughes. Gets a second chance, feeds Lee Sharpe. Gonna get there first, and Lukic, brave keeping.
And also good goalkeeping.
Lukic out quickly, and the instant effort from Hughes. Well, it was worth a try, wasn't it? And the bounce was so kind to the Dane.
Well, it was kind to him, you may say that, but I think Lee Chapman will be disappointed he didn't make his mind up a bit earlier. It was just a penalty area full of confusion just for a few seconds. And all because Schmeichel doesn't get here. Commits himself. Shutt gets the touch. It's from here though. As it pops up in the air. Look at Lee Chapman. He's back on his heels. He's back on his heels. He makes the fatal mistake of letting it drop.
This could be a very, very dangerous moment indeed for Leeds. Sharpe. And that was Gary Speed, who must have covered 3/4 of the length of the pitch in no time.
Well, Speed does well, but I do think that Lee Sharpe should have punished him there. Just dithers on the ball a little bit too long. When United at one time had a 4-against-2 situation.
Sharpe it is who takes the corner. Pallister wins it. Dropping around, Bruce. Scrambled away. Giggs. Lukic has got to win that. He does. He seemed to be clattered into after the ball with Arsenal. Well, McAllister, I bet, is wishing that nobody had seen it because they kind of forewarned his forearm here, but McAllister might try his luck again anyway.
Well, perhaps Dorigo might just pull a fast one.
Here is McAllister. Dorigo. Oh, and it was a good one. And I thought for a moment it was opening up for the Frenchman. Ince! Almost into one of the executive boxes behind the goal.
Great skill from Sharpe, though, to produce a cross. I always feel when people get... Dorigo does very well on the back post, just to make it a difficult header for Cantona, and they managed to clear it.
Sellars closing in on this, wishing it had been on his left foot. Up goes the Norwegian. And McClair with a nice touch for Parker.
Noticeable though how many midfield players that Manchester United managed to get back in and around the edge of the box
to help hitting it low and hard, the kind of shot which worked so well for him against Queen's Park Rangers the last time we saw Manchester United. There weren't so many people in the way that time though. Sharpe, Cantona, still Cantona. Still Cantona, and Lukic's legs saved what would have been a very dramatic story. Are we set up here for something noteworthy right at the death?
Well, if he's going to go now, they really will lift the roof off this place.
Scott Sellars takes it. Batty wins it again. Could be important. Sellars has room for the cross, doesn't make the most of it. Leeds really are an entirely different proposition at home. Schmeichel just gets there.
Well, for one of the few times tonight, they managed to get one or two other people into the box to join Chapman. Speed picks McAllister out. I can find nothing wrong with the header. It's only a brilliant save from Schmeichel that keeps the scoreline blank.
Well, if the ball had bounced probably 6 inches in front of where it had, it might have bounced up into the net, but give Schmeichel credit, he got there. And he gets there again too.
That really was a fine save. You know, I couldn't fault McAllister header one bit. Gets up well, powers it into the corner, down onto the ground with it. Difficult for the goalkeeper. Just bounces, but look at that for a plunge to his left. Great stuff.
The final whistle. Éric Cantona. Well, the only headline he'll make is for a booking on his return to Elland Road. He had a hostile reception. To be truthful with you, he also had one great chance. Alex Ferguson and Howard Wilkinson. Well, last year, of course, Manchester United and Leeds were like a couple of meteors on a collision course all season. They've come out even here tonight. Chances at both ends.